Hi, this is Daniel with End Time Country Living, and today I want to show you what kind of vegetables can be grown in Oregon in the springtime before a lot of things are already planted out. So things that are overwintered from last year and things that you can keep going all year round. A lot of vegetables can be gathered during this time of year still. So I wanted to kind of show you what I have growing in my garden now. Maybe give you some ideas of what you can grow in your garden. So right now we got a little bit of break from all the rain that we've been having here. Just kind of nice here. Take you out here to the garden. So I like to do this before lunch and go out and get a lot of greens out here. These are the beets that I planted in the fall. So the beet greens here are very good. They're one of the highest nutrient dense leaves available, along with Swiss chard, which is a very close relative of it. So we can get a bunch of leaves off of these here. Just put them in my little bucket here. Grab some of the nicer leaves. Try several different plants here. So I'll get a few of these and then I'll go get some more different types of vegetables, so I have a variety. So another type of vegetable that I have growing this year is just starting to come up is the asparagus. So you can see here my asparagus patch here. This plant right here is doing fairly well. It's coming up with some nice spears, and these are coming up. These are fairly small. I could probably let them get a little larger before I pick them. But there's a few out here that are getting big enough, so maybe get little 3 or 4 of them out of here. So here's one here that's fairly good size. You can tell by the size of it, the diameter, that it's a male one. The female ones, like this one over here, are quite a bit thinner. So I usually leave those and let those produce energy, get large, and collect sun and feed the plant through photosynthesis. So the best way to harvest these is to break them off at the what they call it, the crown down underneath the soil. So you kind of want to do a kind of a circular motion, kind of hear it crack down there, and kind of a little bit of a twist to get it up out of there. So that's what it should look like. It should be kind of white, real white down at the bottom. That's broken off at the right place. If you cut it off at the top, it won't grow back this year. You only get that one cutting, so it'll send up another stalk out of this same area when you break it off like that. So that's why it's important to do that. So then you got to find the point where it's no longer tough, because this part down here is all tough. So usually you can guess it's where usually it starts to turn green. There's almost a little line where it gets that tough, but you just need to kind of break it and kind of find a point. See right there, I was trying to bend there, but it broke up here. So that's where the point is, where it's nice and tender up here, but this is going to be tough. So I'll discard this since this is got mud on it anyway. I don't want to bring it in the house and have to take it back out of here, so it's best just to bring it out or break it off out here in the garden and not have to bring this part in the house. Here's another one I can harvest here. So again, just kind of start working my way up towards the tip until it will break nicely and crisp and clean, nice and juicy. Okay, I'll just put these in my bucket. So I only got about 2 of them that are good enough size to take. And I have my arugula bush here that's doing very well. It's kind of a plant that's just kind of been kind of perennial here, that's just kind of keeps growing, so I keep harvesting off of there. I need to kind of move it in probably a better location. It's kind of in my path a little bit here, but it's not too bad. Arugula is a fairly nice plant. It's got a nice strong flavor to it, kind of peppery, so enjoy that. So leaves are quite nice here most of the time of the year. The flea beetles sometimes will get at it during the summer when it gets dried out a little bit more, but right this time of year it's still quite nice. So I like to add that to either a fresh salad or steam it with the rest. Gives varied nutrition. And you can see it's starting to go to seed this year, so you could even eat the seed heads there. They're kind of like a broccoli, immature flowers. So you can pick quite a few of these. It's quite big here. And another herb this time of year that's coming on nicely is the lemon balm. So I have several bushes around the property here that I can collect from. So this is what the lemon balm plant looks like this year. It holds over the winter very nicely. So I can pick these leaves and add them to my steamed or fresh greens. They're a little bit small sometimes to have to deal with, but not too bad. And always got our oregano here that can be used. Usually don't pick a lot of it since it's small leaves and kind of a challenge to pick a lot of it at once. But it's good nutrition and another good herb to eat. Right over in the same area I have my parsley. So that's held over the winter very nicely and starting to grow quite a bit more now. That's weather starting to warm up. So I can pick quite a bit off of this and regrow. And of course I got the green onions here. We can steam those up and make a nice vegetable out of those. And we also have the garlic that's coming up here. These make a nice green to be steamed up. Chop these up fairly fine because they're a little bit more fibrous, but they steam up quite nicely and give whatever you're cooking there a very, very nice garlic flavor. And we got the leeks in here. Some of them are getting fairly good size. These guys here. So they can decent diameter here, not huge this time of year, but it's okay. They're multiplying. So if you cut one off, I used to reach down underneath the soil, pull back the chips and the soil in there and take my knife and cut it off as low as I can without cutting into the roots, and then it'll regrow another stalk there, so I can kind of keep it going. I'm going to steal some of the outer leaves here. Maybe just one per plant so I don't burden it too much. Since they're just trying to produce garlic for me at the same time. Take my pocket knife here and chop some of these off here. And these will regrow very nicely. And of course we have our kale plants that have overwintered nicely this year. It didn't get terribly cold. Freezing temperatures, but nothing, zero or anything like that. I think it probably got down to the 20s or so. So we got plenty of kale heads here. These are quite tasty. A little stronger than a broccoli, but still fairly edible and very nice and very nutritious. So I got the Red Russian type down here, which is flowering out nicely, and then the lacinato kale. So these heads are very, very tasty and nutritious. Make a nice vegetable. So another vegetable that's available this time of year is cabbage greens. So I put these into my hedgerow here just to keep them out of the way. So these guys are flowering nicely. So these have little flower heads I can break off and make a nice little vegetable here. And we got the greens here too. The leaves are quite nice now. you know, perfectly clean, no sign of any kind of bug eating on them. So this time of year is always a very nice to come out here. It's like, oh, I don't have to worry about all the bugs that are on here. I might get on there later on when the plant is a little more stressed. So there's a very nice little head here that's very edible. Break it off back a little ways. You get some little leaves with it. Chop that up or steam it whole or something like that. As you can see, there's some nice, lots of vegetables available. That's more of a green one. This is more of a red-leafed variety. So you get a little bit of purple in the coloration of the leaves and the flower heads. And this is another red one that's regrown here. So these leaves will be, they're coming back. They're not quite coming on big enough for me to harvest yet, but this is a red ace, I think, or something like that, and what the variety was here, but one that just was a volunteer that came up. I harvested the head in the fall, and so now it's putting out new growth here in the spring. And the rhubarb, of course, is coming on, so that'll be another vegetable we can use. Put some charcoal that was soaked in urine and buried that in the soil, and then transplanted these this spring here. So these have only had a couple months to grow, and they're coming along very nicely. I'm very surprised because they were just little buds, and you know, wasn't any leaves hardly on the things when I transplanted them, and so they've done remarkably well. And I tried one, and they're very sweet and very nice. So the stalks are fairly small yet, but there's still some harvestable ones and ones that are fairly decent in there, so I've been enjoying those. So as you can see, the kale is nicely flowering out, so this is providing a lot of nectar and pollen for the bees. So when the sun shines, they have something to come out here and enjoy and keep them alive, as well as the fruit trees are flowering, and a lot of other little flowers are coming out now. So I hope that encourages you to think about the things that you can let just keep growing. Don't pull them out of your garden in the fall, just let them grow, and then in the spring you have some nice vegetables that you can enjoy and get good nutrition off of. There's a lot of little plants like the parsley that you just kind of just let grow and in their little area and weed around them and put a little compost around them once in a while. Fairly easy to take care of, and they provide greens all year round. Alright, well, I can hear the the rain starting to come here. I better get in and get my lunch cooked up here. So I will catch you guys on the next video. Be sure to give me a thumbs up on this video. That helps other people to find my channel, and more people can learn about ways to grow food in the country and provide for your own needs. And share this on social media, whatever social media you have, and that helps other people to learn about my channel and things like that. So, alright, take care. See you on the next video. Bye-bye.